Thanks for staying with us now. If you're just tuning in, we're discussing the future of banking and we're asking what's next. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-80384663. It's Twitter matter. Twitter does that. You know the thing is ingrained in my brain.
Yes, it's in the script.
But you know what? I was going to ask a question, but I think I'll let AK then AC will come in.
Thank you. So we were just talking about the fluidity of the transactions and everything. And we know that one of the things I think people are skeptical about when it comes to digital banking is also the ease at which fraud can happen. Let's go back to when we didn't have transfers and I had to probably bring my money to you. The only one you'll be worried about is the physical person that would come to your shop. But now, if you're not careful, your account can be drained and you are sitting at home until you receive an alert. And we're thinking, with all this ease, is it not going to also make it easy for the criminals to evade? We're talking about fraud and cybercrime.
Just to even add to that, you know people do fake alerts.
Oh, yeah.
When you go to stores, so instead of, they want to transfer to your account, you see a proper alert, but it was generated.
We solved that problem some years ago.
It's still happening, though.
Okay, so I understand, right? When it's easy to lose stuff. And so if I say that problem is in it, that would be a big lie. But the truth, the thing with technology is that it actually makes it a whole lot easier to protect yourself. In the days when I first started my email, we used to get tons and tons of spam mails. Now, I hardly get that these days. Now, Gmail does a good job of packing them somewhere. That's what technology does. There are actually more spam mails, probably 1 billion more sent these days than before, but better technology to protect. Same way, as fintechs are making it easier to send money, right? They're also creating technologies that are super smart to detect fraud, right? So we're actually safer now than we were in the past. And in the olden days, people would come to your house and really beat you up. Oh, you will be lucky to even say you are beaten up. People got killed because they were carrying cash around. Now, if you see anybody carrying more than 100K, you are looking at him like, are you a ritualist or something? Yeah,
it's going to spray at him.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're actually safer now than we used to be. A whole lot more.
That's fantastic. Now, earlier you talked about loan. And it would create a seamless transaction for people to actually have access to loans. I know currently when you want to have access to a facility in a bank, you have to go through consumer banking or something, or retail banking to get consumer loans, basically. So, this is the question. We have marketers that are into this, that actually source the clients and follow up on the clients. What will this mean for banks in the future if they are not able to, have these marketers? 1, 2, what will it mean for the bank itself? Because these marketers are able to bring in these people and at the same time
Marketing will go digital.
to know if
they are credible.
Oh, okay. What would this mean?
Okay, so
you see that she's still a traditional somebody.
How can you assess?
Don't listen to her.
No, it's okay. I'm used to them.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I recently wrote an article. I was saying the future of credit in Nigeria, especially, is going to be kind of bifurcated. Yeah. Right. I see banks continue to do corporate and commercial loans, while the non-banks will continue to drive. The retail and SME loans. Because today, it's easier for a fat camel to jog through the eye of a needle than for you to walk into your bank and get a loan. And we all know this, so we should not deceive ourselves. See, I worked in banking for most of my career. Banks don't have the DNA to do retail loans. And it's very simple, because then in banking, even now, tell a banker, do retail loan. Looking at you like, okay, you know what? I've got a loan target, right? I could do 10,000, 100,000 loans to do 1 billion. Or I could find one good SME commercial name and do 1 billion. Who has time to chase 10,000 people around? They don't have the DNA because they just don't understand. It's not their fault, right? They just don't have it. It's like asking me to sing. I can't do it. Now, on the flip side, if you've been in Nigeria for the past 3 years, and I know you've been, you've seen the rise of alternative lenders. Right? You see Carbon, Fair Money, Sokolo, and the rest of them. Last year, Fair Money did about 40-something billion. Wow. Fair Money, Sokolo, I can't recall, but I know Branch did like 21 billion. These are numbers that push out. Carbon D like 25.
And these are small loans.
These are small loans, yeah. You're talking about loans from 5,000 up to like maybe 5 or 8,000. Now, a bunch of people doing that. Now, these guys are growing almost 100% per year. Even during COVID, a lot of people pulled back. Some people grew at that time. Fair money grew very well. Now, what is that saying? It's saying that what banks can see or can handle, these fintechs are doing it.
So collaboration still comes to play.
No, they are not really going to collaborate. I actually see a battle down the line when these guys will have developed this market. Look, we all know how this thing is going to play out, right? And it's going to play in a very funny way. We've seen it happen in telecoms, right? Because we expect that, the way to get telephony is that you fill long forms longer from down here, longer than the terminal bridge. You fill it, give it to someone, wait 1,000 years to get your phone. Then you see what happened. MTN, Airtel came around, and they just gave them SIM card, and everybody had a phone. You don't even need to fill anything. It's just now that the minister is teaching all of us to regularize our transfer.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's after how many phones?
How many years?
20 years and about 200 million lines, right? So what's going to happen is that credit will get to any Nigerian. Of course, at the early stages, there will be a lot of defaults, there will be a lot of things, but these guys are building incredible algorithms that is able to know who will pay or not. I don't know which of you will pay the loan back here.
It's not
I'm
me.
not going to let the algorithm say. But where is it going to? It's going to the fact that loans today in Nigeria are instantly available. Nobody goes. These guys don't have branches. They don't have anybody for you to talk to.
Okay.
At worst, right, you download an app. At best, for people like QuickCash, Migo, you actually dial a USSD code and you get a loan instantly.
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the world that lives. So, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please. Finish up.
That's the world where we live in. And I see this growing. If this thing continues growing at the rate it's growing, in 5 years' time, these guys will probably be doing maybe 3 trillion, 4 trillion a year, and the market will completely change.
Okay. So Adedeji.
Okay.
We talked about barrier to entry.
Okay.
In terms of these small companies that you're talking about, the barrier is very low. I mean, I've heard someone send me a business plan that all she needs is probably with 10 million or be 15 million, she would open a proper lending company, blah, blah, blah.
Facility.
That might eventually now grow into becoming a digital bank if she builds the customer base well. We don't calculate, you know.
Okay.
So as the barrier to entry is really low, right? So what gives in terms of regulation? Because I think that was the biggest challenge that CBN had talked about, regulating that sector to make sure that, okay, you know, the way CBN came up with the bill, was it how many billion that banks had to deposit with CBN?
Okay,
so
but
that,
the consolidation of banks.
yes, you will not
No,
lose.
no,
Go down to
You will not lose your money.
5?
Yeah,
Thereabouts.
yeah.
25
people who are in
billion.
this space, I just have an idea. So what would be the what's it called, the security, you know, for people that want to probably go into that space to say, you know what, I have a loose change, maybe 20 million. I also want to start this business. How do you protect, you know,
Okay.
and how do you go about it?
Okay, so here is the way it is right now in Nigeria. So lenders are regulated by different bodies. So you've got those regulated by the central bank and those regulated by the state. So for those regulated by central bank, you're looking at the standard banks we know, right? You're looking at merchant banks, microfinance banks, finance houses are regulated by the central bank. But another tier of people exist, right? You have them, call them money lenders, cooperatives. They are regulated by the state government. Every state government can issue money lending license. So I think maybe it's of recent that Fair Money just got a mobile money, an MAB license. Up till last year, Fair Money, despite 40 billion plus loans, was doing state lending license. And that's fine. Now, a lot of people will get in because the barrier is low, and a lot of businesses will die. But that is the reality of creating businesses. Do you know how many search engines we had in the olden days? Sites and the rest of them, they're all gone.
They're dead.
But on top of that heap of their business bones, we have better search engines like Google, like Bing, and the rest of them,
Like Bing,
right?
yeah.
Do you know how many smartphones existed before that? You have Handspring,
True.
Palm, we have BlackBerry,
Yeah,
and the rest of them.
Saturn even market.
No, so basically, when it comes to innovation, right, a lot of people will get in, and a lot of things will fail. But
Yeah.
ultimately, maybe the biggest lenders are even those who, in 5 years' time, maybe those starting with 20 million now. We remember, without having to call names, we know some people that started their blogging on free sites, and today we know where they live, right?
Yes.
If those things were not there easily, maybe we'll never have discovered them, right?
Yes.
And today, you look at the big players, even in Nigeria today, we mentioned Flutterwave, Paystack, and the rest of them. If they had to start by having their own data center without using cloud that is cheap, maybe we don't have them. Now today, Flutterwave is a $1 billion company.
Yes.
Now we're all proud of what they've done. So we are going to see the same thing happening to lenders as well. Oh, look at our big banks, right? I work in Access Bank for some. Access Bank was a tiny bank. Standard Trust was a tiny bank,
Yes.
right? Now UBA.
Or Diamond Bank, please.
Yeah. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that, look, the future belongs to those 20 million people that you're talking about. And the big players today, if they are alive in that time, fine. But nobody's going to guarantee anybody's being alive by then.
Okay.
So the CBN has come up with a regulatory framework for open banking.
Okay.
And I know as the experts of the open banking, you have looked at that. Do you think that that covers all the gray areas? Because I know that they have segmented, who gets what information and at, the different ranks. But is it enough to encourage people? Because for this to actually work, there needs to be some build-up of trust, especially with people that have worked in a closed environment all their life. Do you think that this framework would create an enabling environment for us to actually, probably maybe in 2030, all of us have settled in open banking?
Okay, so I will give kudos to CBN. They've done an incredible job. They're probably the first country in Africa, not probably, they're actually the first country in Africa to do open banking. Most countries haven't done it. UK is the leader, and then you have other countries coming. So here we have Nigeria, the first in Africa to have a regulation. Can the first regulation be perfect? It's impossible. Because if you try to be perfect, you will never even start in the first instance, right? So CBN knows this, everybody in tech knows this. We all know that this thing is going to evolve. So we start, and CBN has started, there's a committee to look at this, meetings are starting, standards are coming together, and probably before the end of the year, we have something. Trust me, during this development process, there'll be 1,000 different things that we won't have talked about. That's okay, let's face this. There will be some we have to live with. And then in 5 years' time, this thing will have evolved so much that it's going to be totally different. I remember before, if you want to get internet banking, you have to show up in a banking hall to do it.
Yes.
Now, if you show up in a banking hall to get internet banking, people are looking at you like, Auntie, are you okay? Are you okay?
Are you all right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that is the question. It's never going to be perfect, but I think we're starting from somewhere that's good
I
enough.
just love you. I love you. You're very positive. You have a positive outlook.
What are the options? What are the options?
I don't have an option.
Okay,
We just have to remain positive.
so we just stay positive.
I actually do love that about you.
Because if you're not positive in this
I'll
country,
be your friend
you don't
from
want to
tonight.
get out of your bed.
I'll be your friend from today because I love your positivity. I just want to ask, with the current economic, I think we're weak economically in Nigeria, right?
Well, we're saying the obvious.
I'm saying the obvious. So do you think going to this, playing big with this digital economy, pushing it really hard, probably driving investment, do you think it can actually help to boost the economy?
It will.
Okay.
And it is significantly help. And I always like to connect it back to what we know. The internet today has allowed a lot of Nigerians to be more engaged than they would have been.
Yes.
Right? Telephony today has allowed a lot of people to take those things out. Government created the framework for telephony to come, but government did not do the investment.
Yes.
Can you see what telephony has done for us, right? You've seen what the internet has done for us, right? I've got a lot of young people who, even they're in Nigeria today, they are working for foreign companies. That wouldn't have happened if there's no internet. When this stuff happens, right, the transformation will be phenomenal. And it's not about me being unreasonably optimistic. It's just in my space, if we can see it.
Yeah.
Of course, we can spoil it, right? But we will not spoil it because it's mostly driven by market needs, it's being driven by innovation, and it's also being driven by the Look, Nigerians have got a very resilient spirit because
Never say die.
absolutely. I don't know whether it's good or bad, but I know in Nigeria we just don't.
It has to be good though. That's
Because
the
we
only
just
thing.
don't die easily. As like, how have we survived? What has made us to survive we've tried, So I believe that this is going to be transformational. Look at the banking space. Like, let's even sit back and ask ourselves, how have banking done it? Look at BVN that we take for granted.
Absolutely.
6-7 years ago in Nigeria, we didn't have any form of ID. Nobody trusted the passport. We know you probably got it from Oluwole or somewhere. Banks came together. Do you know how much it cost them? They put together $60 million to do this thing. And it completely transformed identity within financial services in Nigeria. That formed the bedrock of you now being able to dial a USSD code to transfer money because the whole chain of trust has been established. This open banking will have more transformational impact and create more value than even anything we've ever done in banking.
You know, BVN actually helped
as
multiple.
Talking, do you know what I saw?
Multiple loans. You know how
Thank
people
you.
will go to this bank,
Exactly.
collect money. So BVN just completely crippled that.
Absolutely.
Stopped it.
Totally.
Okay,
No,
then people are hiding money.
Let's take
as
some
well.
comments here.
As he was
Okay.
just talking,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
As he was just talking, I just see how the private sector has really helped this
No,
country.
it has. Oh.
Because you see, if you go to Singapore and then probably look at the banking structure, you would see that most of the structures are provided by the government.
Absolutely.
The issue of identity, if you go to the Western world, is taken up by the government. But you see how it is the private sector that is even
And that's why it
forming
still
the
beats my
bedrock for even
imagination.
the government to even run.
It beats my imagination why they brought up NI, because if you had followed this, but they said, okay, there are a lot of people that are unbanked, you know,
Absolutely, a whole lot.
A
Like
lot,
more than
yes.
50% on
a lot of people. So that's why they had to go through the number route. But let's take some comments from our audience. I think Isi go first.
Okay. This is from Benson, and he says, "Good evening, brilliant guest. You have a fan." And he says, "Please, in what way can the future of banking technology help with security?" In quote, kidnapping and ransom.
Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, so the truth today is that I heard kidnappers still, they get paid with cryptos, right? According to the CBN, it's one of those reasons why they push these things. But reality is that data transactions create some sort of trail that you can't have with paper transactions. So recently when the US, that oil company in the US
Yes.
Was hacked, yeah.
was hacked. You know, they actually paid in crypto. But the
Yeah,
US
they
got,
wouldn't-
because they traced those money back. But it was paper money. Once you drop it, it's
That's
go
it.
right to the cash.
they're
So
not
I
tracing
believe
our
that
money.
this makes it a whole lot more difficult. With the NIN being tied to phones, with transaction leaving digital trails, it will be a whole lot more difficult to do some of these crimes. But you know, Nigerians are also very ingenious, so
Precisely.
they
They will
may
come
find
up with
other kind
other
of
ways.
crimes that we've never seen before. But
Okay, so AK.
Okay, so it's a great topic. Please ask your guest what is his take on reducing card issuance to further ensure banking accounting security. This is Lekon Lutana.
reduce.
So this said his take on reducing card issuance to further ensure banking account security. So I don't get. So I don't know if he's talking about actually not
Like
maybe
ATM cards
virtual
instead of
cards.
using
Okay,
cards, yeah.
so basically, so cards is a token of transaction. Really, the money doesn't even sit in the card. From my own point of view, even though people say I'm wrong, but I feel like cards will be one of those things that down the line will say, oh, so we used to use this, right?
Okay.
Because APIs kind of disintermediate all those kind of things. You'll be able to connect your accounts to things, but then you'll be able to create virtual accounts, right? In such a way that people never have access to your actual account. Because as long as there are APIs, there will always be people that are trying to do funny
They're
things.
going to hack it.
Absolutely. yes.
Absolutely.
And I think that some banks have rolled out virtual cards.
Yes, quite
Yes,
a number
yes,
of banks have done that.
and I've also seen a card that has no details. So it doesn't have a number on it. And
Really?
Yes. there's a-
Physical?
I don't. Yes,
But-
I don't
but-
want to ask me after the show. I'll tell you the name of
But
it.
the ones that you just go and scan your phone
Yes.
to make payments, is
QR
that a
route?
digital? Is that a digital or just a QR code?
It's a
So it depends, right? So you could have the QR code where you are snapping. Now, so the details of what you're trying to pay
Go
for
straight to your
is
account.
actually on that QR code. But there is some that is even much more amazing than that. You put in your card, for example, your Apple Pay, your Google Pay, when you can just touch to tap out. That's super fast. Like if you see that in work, it's like magic. And it's so
So the
seamless.
money will go like magic.
Well, yeah,
This thing you
well.
are saying now is just, you know what I'm thinking? I'm sorry, I'm in Jebu like that. It's just making me feel that people will just be spending because it's the ease of
but
spending.
that is
You
the
are made by ease of spending.
No,
but Deji, I want to agree with Uwa, and I agree with you. It's very bad. That's the disadvantage of the
Where is the money to
that
spend?
you cannot see. Or they believe somehow there's money somewhere. They say dial star Kiniko and
Can you
get
tell me where the, can you
300,000.
tell me where the money
The
is?
one you said that if I go into a store, they will give me loan, palm like that.
Hey, you are
I will
getting
shop.
It's too money.
At the end of the month, they
you
will
will
drag
still
you.
pay,
It
but you
doesn't
will
matter.
spend
I will pay what I will
first.
spend.
You know what we're saying is very so no, see, when you count 100,000, you'll be telling yourself, why am I counting on? But if you tap 100,000, you're not.
And guess what?
But you know that I was behaving like 10,000 these days.
No, I know, but let me tell you something. I noticed that behavior
Yes.
with customers, right? Because I run a small business. If they are counting that money, they feel that they're giving you too much money. But when the same customer, your bill is 200K, she just goes, okay, swipe. But when she's physically counting, so Deji, help us. We need to be prudent with our money.
So what do you want me to do? Make it more difficult or make it easier?
Easier.
No, make it difficult.
No, please.
No, it can be seamless, but
easier.
let the money not just leave quickly.
So
let me think twice. If I've paid, let me think before the money leaves my account.
Let me tell you.
It's
I
all
change my
about.
mind.
Let me tell you one of the
It's
things
now
open
turn to
banking we allow people to do. So there's something they call the personal financial management. So imagine you with open banking and you have your bank app or you are using some other savings app.
Yeah.
Open banking can check your bank balances at the end of every day and help you move some certain amount, either round it down, move loose change, and keep it and save it for you. So you
But
don't
is it
need...
not setting? It's
No.
setting. It's human discipline.
No, you will, because what happens is that once you set it up, you don't need to think about how to do it anymore. So, for example, do you all have alarms?
Yes.
I do, right? Because I can't even wake up by myself, even if the heaven is ending. But alarms wake me up. So some things, once you automate them, they just bring out the discipline that you think you don't have. Because it moves the money away, and for you to now go to that savings and break the savings, it will make it difficult.
That is talking because I think he's very disciplined. You know, we met him before the show and he's reading. So that is a different human being.
Really?
You know why I'm telling you? Because trust people with this issue. They will go, instead of waiting for that, it's either they break it or they borrow against it. So borrow against future funds. And I think it's a matter of self-discipline.
We run out of time.
That's all about
Such an interesting
Oh,
conversation.
so thank you so much, Deji. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank
We
you.
hope you'll come back again. We hope so.
If someone bribes me, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure you will
All right.
want us to bribe you.
Transfer the money, please.
I don't do
Send
transfer.
money. Send money.
So before we go, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Issy. Thank you,
Thank you.
Iki. So before we go, please ensure you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact further with us, drop your comments, like our conversations. We do a lot of BTS that you will love, behind the scene. And we're planning a huge giveaway for you that's watching. You've been following our brand very well, supporting the Waze brand. So we're doing a giveaway very soon. So make sure you follow us on social media, right? On Instagram. In case you missed today's quote, it's not me they will catch it. Here it is again. Technological innovation will be the heart and blood of the banking industry for many years to come. And if big banks do not make the most of it, the new players from fintech and large technology companies surely will. We'll see you live Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.